podcast is not for the weak-minded or easily offended. You're listening to the Ranting with Ramos podcast. This episode, as always, contains language that may not be suitable for all listeners.
The following podcast contains language that may not be suitable for all listeners.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is episode 2, Ranting with Ramos. It's going to be chapter 2 of a look inside the life of Ranting with Ramos. Back taking place in San Gabriel, 80s and 90s. It's growing up in Mexican neighborhoods. Everyone's got nicknames. So, my neighbors to the right, you had Caco, rest in peace, his brother Nando, his brother Cole, and his brother David. And then in the front house, we had Chino, we had Slap It Steve, Eddie, a.k.a. Psycho, and me, I got my nickname in elementary school. I was in 3rd grade, and my dad, he would take me lunch because I didn't like the cafeteria food, and I lived about 150 feet away from El Pablo Bakery on the train tracks on Walnut Grove, and he would bring me burritos, KFC, Burger King, and at lunchtime, everyone would notice, like, oh shit, this was eating, good food. And one of the homeboys, Travieso Rosagra, when we were there, he was like a year older than me. He's like, damn, dog. So you fucking eat burritos, dog. That's just good. I shouldn't get your shit all big, homie. Burritos. You know what, dog? Since you're always eating burritos, we're going to call you Burrito, dog. I was like, fuck it. And then that shit stuck. So then that shit followed me all through high school. I was cool with it, whatever, It wasn't really because I was fat, but people thought it was because I was fat, but it was because, I used to eat burritos and shit. And it was cool because I'd be in high school, and I was cool with everybody, man. And sometimes it'd be like, like the handicapped kids would be hanging outside, and sometimes kids with Down syndrome, and you'd be like, hey, what's up, burrito? Hey, what's up, man? I fucking say what's up to everybody, man. Paisa kids, it didn't matter, man. I didn't think I was better than nobody. Although people thought that maybe, because they knew I could beat the shit out of almost anybody. But I didn't walk around like that. Some people might have seen me like that, but no. So, I would kick it with everybody. Sometimes I'd sit down and eat lunch with nerds. Sometimes I'd kick it with my homies. Sometimes I'd sit down and eat lunch with all the chicks and just kick it, talk to them. And I was all over the fucking place. But flashback to 96. I was in 1st grade, and it was actually a bilingual class because my first language was Spanish. I'm first generation American, born here, so my first language was Spanish, and that was the only language I knew was Spanish, and I was learning English. I used to love watching cartoons. That's why I learned my English. I would watch Popeye. I watched Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. I used to like watching Tom and Jerry a lot, and from Looney Tunes, I used to like watching Pepe Le Pew a lot.
Vive l'amour! We die together.
And it was cool when I was in the I used to love school. I used to love school early in the beginning. I would love it. I would have good grades. I'd come and show it to my parents. They'd be happy. So I was all into school. And one day I was in line, about to get my lunch, and the fool in front of me, his name was William. I forget his last name, but I used to call out from football head. I used to be a shit tucker. I used to call out from football head. He had a flat head, but it was really, really wide. And this is before that Hey Arnold show. We're talking 1986, before they even thought about that show. I used to call that for that shit. And we were in line, and we just started talking shit to each other. Fool thought he was all tough, putting his chest out, and fuck you, your mom this, your mom that, and I'm like, fuck you, your mom this, your mom that. Next thing you know, so fuck you, like, you know, putting his chest on me, like, you know what, fuck this. I give that fool a right uppercut, boom! All of a sudden, fool starts crying and shit. Oh, he fucking punched me, oh. He's like fucking screaming, dude, like a little girl and shit. And the teacher comes, what happened? Well, I hit him. Why? He was telling him F my mom and F this, and so I hit him. Oh, no, you're not supposed to do that. I said, oh, well, he wanted to fight me. So then they call my dad, my stepdad, and he shows up. I mean, if you listen to the first podcast, you know that he fucked up his back. I didn't really go into detail how he fucked it up, but I'll let you know right now. He used to be a welder, and from what I remember, he was telling me there's some big-ass, like pipes, big-ass, like brown pipes, and all of a sudden, those fucking pipes gave way, and they're falling on him, right? So he had to, like, use all his power to stop the pipes so he doesn't get crushed. So when he was doing that, he messed up his back, fucked up a couple discs. He had a couple surgeries later on. But yeah, so he was at home, he wasn't working, so he was able to pick me up, and you know, I was sad, man. I was like, man, you know, because then somebody, oh, we're gonna have to suspend you, man. That really bummed me out. And my stepdad was like, oh, so what happened? I know, well, he was talking shit, you know, fuck your mom, this and that, and well, did you whoop his ass? Did you win? I'm like, yeah, I punched him in the face. All right, and you know, because they knew that I was more upset than I didn't get an ass whoop, but they knew I was more upset because I couldn't go to school anymore. I was upset, like, fuck, I want to keep going to school. And so we went home or whatever, and I stayed home my 2 days. And then when I went back, you know, like, they sat me far away from that kid. And also, like, a lot of talk about fights, man. People talk about, oh, I'm going to whoop your ass on sight. Man, that ain't nothing. My brother, he would always be fighting with Chino, the homie in the front house. They'd be going at it, man, like on sight, though, literally. So you see each other, boom, 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 throwing putazos, and these were some badass fights. We're talking, how old are we? We're talking about 2 5-year-old chubby little kids just throwing putazos, man, and pretty evenly fought fights. I mean, you know, you talk about close fights, Golovkin, Canelo, close fights? No, this is close fights right here, man, where they're just going at it, man, punching each other, and they would last a long ass time, man. Almost every other day they'd be fighting and shit, and you couldn't really pick a winner. But sometimes, you know, my brother would win, sometimes Chino would win. And then one day we went to the same school too. We used to walk over there, and one day that shit carried on over to the fucking school, man. It was in the morning, you know. In the morning, you get there early, you play basketball, whatever. My brother was really good at basketball, really good at basketball early on. And I remember I was in the playground, and all of a sudden they fucking start fighting. My brother and Chino, boom, 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 just throwing fucking putazos, boom, boom, boom. And everyone was watching this shit. All the kids fucking ran, fucking circle, or watching this shit. But nothing happened. No, nobody told the teachers, because the teachers were still like in class, and they didn't really have people watching us. So then, boom, that happened. And then another thing that happened in Roosevelt, because there used to be a big ass field. We used to play tackle football there, flag football. We used to play softball. We had a big ass baseball field. We hit the baseball, whatever, hit home runs and shit. And so we were there, and my neighbor Kako, rest in peace. I guess, you know, we had some beef and shit. He was a year younger, exactly a year younger, because I'm April 5th, and his birthday is April 3rd, I believe. I hope I'm not messing that up. I'm pretty sure it's April 3rd, and so we're, man, to the T, almost a year, you know, apart. And we're like, oh, fuck you, you know, you want to fight? And instead of just fighting there, we're next to our neighbors. Instead of fighting there, he's, oh, well, let's go fight at the park at Roosevelt. All right, let's go, man. So we went. He took his big ass brother, like 6'3" brother. And at that time, I'm pretty sure it must have been about 10, maybe 10. Kako was 9. And David must have been about 13. He was a teenager already. And Nando went. Everybody went, my neighbors. Slappy Steve, Eddie, Chino, we all showed up. My little brother was there. And we go, we're in the middle of the field. Boom, we start fighting. I start fucking them up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, we're fighting and shit. I'm fucking them up, punching them. And next thing you know, out of my peripheral, I see a big ass, something long flying at me. What? So I look, and it was this big ass Brother David. Boom, that fool did a flying kick to my head. Boom, and that stopped the fight. I mean, this is a 13-year-old kid, and I was about 5, or at that time I was about probably like 5'7". This guy was like already 6'3". He's already going through puberty. So I didn't go home and cry to my mom and say, hey, they jumped me, whatever. Whatever. It happened, whatever. But after that, we were cool. We never fought again. And then that was cool. But thinking back now, I remember that, like, let's say our neighbors, they would fight us a lot and shit. They would, they were little troublemakers and shit. In the end, they ended up doing good and shit. They got, but these are the motherfuckers that you would think, like, oh, these are fucking crazy trouble kids. And in the end, they're doing pretty good for themselves, actually. I'm actually happy for them that they're doing good. I know one's a truck driver, one's an electrician, I believe. They got their families and shit. That's good, man. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish it. And right now they're doing good, so that's cool, man. Props. But anyway, sometimes they fuck with me. They didn't really fuck with me that much, because with me, you would fuck with me and I wouldn't really get too mad. But it would go to the point where I would get so pissed off and I'd be like, I'd fucking drop down on my knees and be like, all fucking pissed off. And my little brother, man, he'd be like, come on, Jose, turn into Incredible Hulk, turn into Incredible Hulk. And I'd be like, and these motherfuckers just start laughing and shit, I'm like, nobody turned into no fucking Incredible Hulk. But around that time, we'd be watching fucking Lou Ferrigno and shit, Incredible Hulk and shit. Turn into Incredible Hulk, okay? And yeah, man, that fucking... And then another fight that happened was... this one was fucked up, man. Because I actually talked a lot of shit. And, one of my, friends from school... Adam Morales, he's they're from San Gabriel. His family's from San Gabriel. His dad is the chief of the Gabrielino Indian tribe. So San Gabriel has the Gabrielino Indians, and these guys are OG, like original, indigenous people from there. And he was a chief, and I didn't figure that out till after, once they built Gabrielino High School. But so I didn't know about that, but they were cool. And Adam had a brother named Adrian. They used to call him Biff. And this guy was cool. He knew what was up, man. He knew what was up. You had fucking burgundy dogs, black dogs. So I'm assuming their parents had money and shit. And this fool had fucking, where I got my first, copy of the Smiths. He had tapes and shit. So one day I went and Adam was like, oh, check it out. So he had a cassette deck with 2. I took a blank one and I copied Rank, which is a live CD of the Smiths. And man, that's where I heard Big Mouth Strikes Again, the live version. Fuck, that shit changed my world, man. That's when I really, really got into the Smiths. And I recorded other CDs that he had too, tapes of the Smiths. And if you guys know me, I'm a big, huge Morrissey fan. Just look at my Instagram page. You'll see Deathblow 1, and that's where I have a lot of my. When I go to concerts, I don't mess around, man. I'm in the front. But that's another episode. But just those of you know how much Morrissey means to me. So anyway, yeah. So that's how I got my cassettes. And then Biff was cool, man, because he had his docs and he'd be cleaning them, and then when they're the yellow strings, he'd put I don't know if it was Vaseline or some special shoe dubbing to make them look clean. But yeah, they were clean, man. And this fool had fucking Morrissey T-shirts and all that shit, man. It was like after 92, so it was maybe like 93, 94 when I was in junior high. But I remember 92 was when Your Arsenal came out, and that cassette I borrowed it from my neighbor at the last house, which was Maggie. She was a girl, but she was cool. Like, we were real cool. And I borrowed it from, I guess maybe one of her sisters. And man, I got that cassette, and I sat in my dad's. I think it was an old ass 70-something Corolla station wagon, And I just go in there with the key, turn the car on, and just fucking listen to that fucking cassette front to back, man. Front to back. Fucking Morrissey Arsenal. If you ever listen to that fucking CD, that CD from start to finish, that CD's fucking bad. That's when they had a badass fucking band. They're still good now, but that band was like rockabilly, psychobilly guys. But anyway, the reason why I'm talking about Adam is I would go walk up to the corner because I lived like maybe a quarter mile away. So I'd walk up to his house, and some other homie, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a Korean homie. We meet up there, and I'd fucking tag along and get dropped off at school and shit. And the Korean dude, he had a party at his house. It was just me, Adam, and him, and his mom was there, and she had cake and food and stuff, and it was cool. Then a couple days later, I was being an asshole, man. I kept messing. Hey, your mom, I fucked your mom. You're this and that. Your mom, this and that. And I just kept messing with him, man, because I used to just like messing with people and just see how far I could take it, I would just keep messing with you. It's like I would just want to see a breaking point, how much can you take? And man, that kid, that one day, man, he reached his breaking point, man. And it was lunchtime. I kept messing with him, and then I just walked away from him. So all of a sudden, he pulled my backpack. This was in Jefferson. He in 7th grade, maybe. Pulls it from my backpack. Man, I start fucking him up, man. I start connecting to his head, just keep messing him up. So he's crying, his face is all red. And the teachers break us up, and what happened? He's saying he effed my mom and this and that. And I didn't deny. I was like, no, we're just playing around. We're talking shit to each other, whatever. And then his mom comes, and his mom sees me in the principal's office, and she's like, why you say that? And man, I felt so messed up that his mom opened her doors to me and invited me, and I was saying this stuff about her, It wasn't true, but it wasn't true. It wasn't real. I was making up this fake stuff, but that right there kind of like, man, you know what? Sometimes you got to watch what you say to people. That kind of made me kind of calm down a little bit because I felt messed up for the kid, because he was being cool, and then look what I do to him, like. I pissed him off so much that he wanted to fight me. I beat his ass, and then he tells his mom that I was saying this about his mom. So that was kind of messed up. And that was that, man. We're gonna take a little break. So it was around 1994, and my neighbors in the front, from the front house, I guess they had a cousin come from Mexico, from the DF, some tall, skinny, dark fool, paisa ass fool, big ass lips, big ass nose. For some reason, that fool didn't like me at all, and he would see me coming, and that fool would like put his head down and shit and spit, just do shit like that. And I don't know why the fuck paisitas do that shit, but I had, when I would go visit my mom, there'd be some fucking paisa kid. He would see me and my brother. He'd fucking look away and put his head down and spit. I don't know what the fuck that means. But for me, if I don't like you, I'm gonna fucking either tell you or mad dog the fuck out of you. I don't know what the fuck that means. But anyhow, we used to kick it in front of Nando's house. Nando and Kako, we used to kick it right there in the front. They had a gate, open up that gate, kick it in the front. They had a big ass pine tree. Just watch cars cruise by, fucking talk shit, fuck around, and just talk about crazy shit. Fucking, what would you do if you got this? What would you do that? Typical fucking, dude talking shit. And so we're kicking it, and all of a sudden, I guess they had water the driveway or some shit. And that paisa comes out, and fucking, he's all mad dog and shit, and he comes up and shit. And I guess he must have been confident or some shit that day, but it's, fuck that, yeah, fuck you, this and that. And then this motherfucker's talking about, que chalupas, chupas, chupas, and I don't know what the fuck this fool saying, because he was from the F, and, you know, those motherfuckers start talking about this weird shit, you know, fucking albures and all that shit. And at that age, I don't know that much about that shit. My parents are from Guadalajara. I don't, that's a different dialect and shit. But anyway, this motherfucker's talking his shit, whatever. All of a sudden, he gets close, boom, we start fucking throwing putazos. I'm fucking swinging like crazy. Boom, 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 landing on this motherfucker. All of a sudden, I see his fucking nose, his mouth fucking blow up. He's bleeding, blood all over his nose, his mouth, on his neck, on his throat, all over his, boom, 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 I'm throwing. And all of a sudden, I, you know, because it was kind of slippery, so I do a step, and boom, I drop to my knees, man, because I slipped. And all of a sudden, this fool runs at me, right? So my brother sees that, boom, he pushes this fool on the side, but that fool was still able to fucking, to land the knee, to land the kick. But what I did was, when I threw myself, I put my elbows in front of me and I blocked it, right? Boom. And I got up. And if I remember correctly, I think Chino rushed them, and they started kind of bombing on each other real quick, because Chino was there. That's his cousin. Boom. And then boom, boom, they kind of broke up. We kept fighting. Boom, boom, boom. And then after all of a sudden, boom, we stopped. And I feel my fucking head feels kind of wet. Like, oh, what the fuck? I had this fool's mocos and fucking spit and saliva with fucking blood on my fucking hair. At that time, I kind of had like a mushroom haircut, but kind of like a Robert Smith from The Cure. Kind of, I would tease that shit up all crazy as best as I could, trying to be my best fucking Robert Smith. But that shit, I fucking touched my head, and I looked at my fingers, like, fucking nasty. Yeah. But this one was fucked up, man. Like, his mouth was split open, his nose, his eyes were all teary-eyed and shit. He was fucked up, man. And I thought I was fucking Mike Tyson fucking this fool up. All of a sudden, my neighbors were like, hey, fool, you fucking punching at that motherfucker like a windmill, dog, like a motherfucking, like 2 helicopters and shit. And I guess I was, man. I was swinging like a motherfucker, like a windmill. And I was connecting every single fucking punch. But I thought I was like fucking Mike Tyson, because I fucked this fool up. This was, nah, fool, you fucking. But, you know, a lot of props to my neighbors and shit for not jumping in, because that's their fucking cousin. But I guess they're like, hey, well, fuck it, this motherfucker wants to fight him one-on-one. And we fought one-on-one. They didn't jump in. So that's cool, you know? Fucking props to that shit. And, as far as like all that talking shit, everywhere people are gonna talk shit, people are gonna fucking. But from the way I look at it, like, as long as you don't touch me, we're good. You can say whatever the fuck you want, whatever, but just don't touch me and we're cool, you know? I've never really taken advantage of my size and my power and what I could do to people, because there's always somebody bigger and better that can beat the fuck out of you. So I've never taken advantage of that. Even though somebody's smarter than you, man, somebody fucking catches you clean on your chin, you're out, man. I seen that shit happen before. Boom, motherfucker just hit a motherfucker, and boom, it just dropped, you know? And your size don't really mean shit, man. A little skinny ass fool can hit me. If he hits me clean in my chin, wow, maybe not, but it could happen. Hits me in the fucking chin, boom, I'm done. And so you always gotta think about that, man. Like, there's always somebody bigger and badder than you, always, man. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I started school when I was 5, but I went to preschool. So that kind of held me back. So when I would be when I was in 4th grade, and my stepdad would bring me food, sometimes when he'd go to the classroom, and we had a teacher, she was South African, she was a white lady. Her name was Mrs. Merritt. And if you guys know Mrs. Merritt, you know she was crazy, man. And me, I was fucking disruptive. I couldn't stay still, you know. And then they make us do like tests. I do finish my test. I do good. I pass it. But then the stuff was too easy for me, and I just start, you know, tapping, making drum beats with my fingers on the desk, or I would just do outbursts, and she would say something and I would turn it into a joke. And I've always liked entertaining. I've always liked to make people smile, make people happy. I guess that's part of it now. That you're an adult, you can actually figure out why it is that that you're like that you were a certain way. And I think I would always like that. Like, you know, I see, it's a good feeling, man. That you make people feel good. You make them feel happy. You know, people could be having a fucked up day, especially kids. You know, especially in that time, man. You don't see what's happening in people's houses. Just like nobody, you know, I didn't really tell anybody. And if you listen to the first episode, you see it was rough, you know. And there's kids that maybe had it worse, and you could tell, man, because they'd be that kid that wouldn't talk to anybody, be upset, and you know. So I don't know. I guess that could be it. But anyhow, man, like he would show up and be like, "Hey, where's Jose?" And she had me in the fucking corner. She'd have me in the corner in the back behind some files where you couldn't see me. Like, so she put like let's say it's the corner. She put like some like a wall of file cabinets around me. She put a chair there. And every single time he'd stop by and take me food, because he would take me food maybe like 2 to 3 times a week. You know, take KFC, all the kids be like, ooh, you know, you're lucky, you're rich, and blah, blah, blah. And, but then he'd be like, and one day he's like, hey, why is he always back there? Like, why do you always have him back there? Every time I come, you have my son there, he's not learning. And so, you know, thank God my mom pushed it, and she called the principal, like, hey, like, why do you guys always have him there? Whenever we bring him food, he's back there, like, he's not even learning. And so they had me talk to, I guess, the principal and like a specialist or whatever, and they said, "Oh, you know what? We figured it out. You know, it's not that he's messing around and not doing stuff. He's finishing the work. He's actually passing. It's just that he's finished and he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's bored. And the reason why that's happening is he's too advanced for this because he went to, you know, he started preschool late." And so they ended up, the next year they ended up pushing me up to 5th grade. And no, I skipped 5th grade. So all you cool dudes that actually went to, I don't know what the lady's name, I don't know if her name was Mrs. Harper or whatever, but in 5th grade, everyone liked going to 5th grade because she was a cool teacher, and they would go to Eden Canyon. They'd go up to the mountains and stuff. I didn't get to go, but I would always hear horror stories where kids would mess up and they touch the poison ivy and they get all messed up. So I didn't go to that. I skipped, but I ended up going to 6th grade. But all the guys that were in 5th, I knew who they were because, you know, we'd be around and stuff. But once I went to 6th grade, I started, I met new friends. They knew who I was. I used to play with them because, man, I remember when I was, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, there was a homie, Lester. He's a little dude, and we played football. We played 2-hand touch, but they said, "Oh, you're too rough. You can't play with us." And, you know, because I'd be like, you know, touching them with 2 hands, but I'd knock people down and shit, you know, because I've always been naturally strong. Always, man. Remember when I was 9 years old, I was benching 100 pounds. And I weighed 100 pounds, I think. So that's pretty even to standards, but for a 9-year-old kid benching 100 pounds, that's crazy. And I've always been naturally strong. Yeah, so man, these kids, oh, you can't play. All the kids, no, you can't play with us. So I would play with the guys that were a year older. So I'd be playing with my homeboy Slick, Eric. That's AKA Slick. Like back to what I was telling you guys about the nicknames. Man, he had a lot of nicknames. Slick, Primetime. He still has his nicknames, man. But Slick, we had Chompiras, Alvaro, his name is Alvaro, they used to call him Chompiras, like fucking El Chavo del Ocho, Chompiras. Let's see, we had Mo, his name was Noé, we used to call him Mo. And what other nicknames do we got? What do we call this fool? Jose Varela, we used to call him Hoser. And then we had Steve, Little Steve, we used to call him Little Steve. We used to call him Speedy. He was fucking fast. We used to play fucking 2-hand touch. You know, at lunchtime you'd fucking boom, hauling ass, be fucking playing basketball. I remember his dad, rest in peace, would teach them like some badass moves, man. Like when someone's taking you how to pivot and all that shit. We don't know none of that shit. So man, you'd be fucking running around doing layups and shit, running around the fucking field. Then I remember he got into wrestling, so he'd be fucking wrestling and shit. And it goes back to nicknames, fucking nicknames. Then you end up getting other nicknames and shit. Like we used to call Steve White Boy sometimes and shit. Milk, not White Boy, because he didn't speak Spanish and shit. We're all first generation, so we speak Spanish and shit. People just like give each other. We love each other, but we just give each other a hard time and shit. That's just the way it is. You gotta have fun, man. You're fucking bored. Nowadays, kids got all this electronics, so they keep busy. We used to just come up with anything, man, with anything to. We used to walk down the train tracks and throw rocks down the wash, just to do anything. And then so I ended up going with these guys, and I ended up, making bonding with these dudes, And it's crazy because they only lived about, I would say about a mile away because we used to live on Walnut Grove, and they were close to San Gabriel Boulevard on Angelino, and Angelino was really hot back in the days, man. That's when Angelino was like the heart of Sangra. Like that's where like the people from Lomas would come and do drive-bys, and that was a hot spot, man. A lot of the homies lived there, and that's where a lot of my friends lived, man. They were right there. Fucking, they hear gunshots, who's getting fucked up, and they're growing up with that. But we used to just walk across. We used to walk the tracks and go across the bridge, and it's maybe like 10, 15 minutes away. We just walk over. We'd always be over there kicking it, and then we're all playing sports. We all play after school sports. Well, Bill was our coach. I don't remember his last name, but he was cool. He used to like the Doors. I used to be into the Doors too. He was a Doors fan. And then he got married, and he needed a real job, so he left. He stopped being our coach, but he was cool. And then after that, we went to Jefferson, and we never left Jefferson because they turned that shit into Gabrielino High School. So we went there fucking 6 years, man, to that fucking school. And there, shit would be pretty crazy at Jefferson, man, because we'd walk to school. And the crazy thing is that I tell you guys is during this time, these guys. They weren't jumped into the gang, but everyone was into that gang thing, because that's what was around you. Your brother-in-law is a cholo, your brother's a cholo, that's what's around you. So that's your environment. But for me, I was cool with them. I kicked it with them, but I was still into my new wave. I was into The Cure, all that stuff. I was really into it. And the cool thing is that I thank these guys, my friends, they accepted me. Even though I was different, I was into my own shit. I dressed different, I looked different, I fucking talked different. My fucking English, I've always tried my hardest to speak like a good English. Right now, I'm relaxed, I'm talking to you guys like normal, But let's say we used to call it Steve Garcia, Speedy would call it flipping the white switch, and that's where you see a white person and you want to get treated, like them. So hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, well, I'd like to take a couple of those, and hey, I was wondering, could you throw in a couple of those too? And I'd flip the white switch, which we call that flipping the white switch. And so sometimes we go places, or I even do that to this day, man. Unfortunately, sometimes like I said, there's no racism, but there is favoritism, depending on how you sound, So sometimes I'll call, and let's say I'm looking for something, and they may only have one or two. I'll call and ask them, hey, what voice should I do? Oh, do the white voice, okay. But hey, hi, I'm calling. I was wondering if you guys have any more of that dip. If you guys have any more, if you guys have that game or the movie. Hey, tell you what, can you hold that for me? I'll see you then. What time do you close? 7 o'clock? See you then. I'm on my way. Thanks. And then I'll show up and I'll see this big, fat, scary Mexican dude. ordering the same thing. Like one time I called a raspado place, and like, hey, did you call right now? I'm like, nah, man, I didn't call. Because somebody called us about raspados. And no, that wasn't me, man. And he's a fucking big ass Mexican dude. And with his Aztec princess coming in and shit. And it's happened to me a couple times, or sometimes like one time I ordered at McDonald's, and I was like, fuck it, let me do my British accent. And I was like, hi, I'll have the 20-piece chicken McNuggets and Big Mac and supersize my fries, and I'll have a Coke as well. And what kind of sauce? I'll have the barbecue, and make sure my chips are fresh, because last time the chips were quite soggy and they seemed as if they were double fried. So please make sure my chips are nice and crunchy and fresh, okay? So I pull up to the drive-thru, and the girl, you can tell she's like anxious to see. Man, I pull up, she sees my ass, man, the scary Mexican fool. At that time, I had my psychobilly quiff, and which is like a big ass pompadour. But they were like, oh man, I was interested to see who it was, and I just started talking normal. Oh yeah, she's like, hey, what happened to your accent? My wife's like cracking up, I said, what happened to your accent? I was interested in, and I was like, wow, like I want to see this guy, and she sees me. But yeah, I was good at, making different voices, different accents and stuff like that. And when I took French class, I did really good in French class because what was the lady's name? She was really cool, Madame Heggie Davis. She was really cool teacher, and she'd be like, hey, all of a sudden she'll be like what do they call, pas anglais, which means no English. You got to speak nothing but French. And man, for me it was easy, man, because I was able to impersonate people, impersonate accents, impersonate voices. So man, and then also like French is pretty similar to Spanish, So I'd be like, j'adore les jeunes filles, and also I think Pepe Le Pew, watching a lot of Pepe Le Pew actually helped me too as well, man, because I'd be like, j'adore les jeunes filles, je déteste les garçons, and I knew a couple words like les chiens, the dog, le cochon is a pig. But anyway, man, I would win some things. She'd call them francs. Those are your money. I don't know. I never knew what the hell you got, but I had a lot of francs and I never traded them in. But yeah, she's like, oh, you sound really good and you're doing good. I took the class like 2 years, but I mean, I've used French only once in my life to ask somebody what time it was, and that's it. But I used to have fun, man. I used to go to school just to be at school, man. Not because I wanted to learn. It's just, man, I don't want to be at home, man. So I just go to school and hang out and just fucking have an audience and shit and perform. And one time I had a English teacher, and they sat us like in clusters, like a four, whatever. And I was up in the front, but I was facing the teacher, right? I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to sit the other way. So I sat facing the students in the class, and so I had like my back to the teacher. She was kind of to the side of me, and I was like, no, Jose, you can't sit like that. I'm like, why? She's like, because then you're gonna have an audience. I was like, no, sit facing me. I don't want you to have an audience. Oh shit! So she heard about me, and yeah, I'd always be messing around and stuff, and it was fun, man. And then, but sometimes, even though it was fun, on the way home, it'd be crazy, man. We'd be walking home down San Gabriel Boulevard. It'd be like, how many of us? Let's say about 8 to 10 of us, walking home on San Gabriel Boulevard. Sometimes we took the side streets, but this time we took the main street, And man, a lot of times the fools from Lomas would cruise by. Lomas is the rival gang. They cruise by, fucking point guns at us and shit. And we just book it, man. Jump into other people's behind their houses and just take off and end up meeting at Angelino. And they chase us a lot, man, because around that time they'd be doing a lot of drive-bys and killing people. So we'd fucking be running into fucking
liquor stores, barbershops, and shit just to get away. It was crazy. Even though I wasn't a gangster, those are my homies, so I kicked it with them. And a lot of times too, I'd be around, we'd be kicking in, all of a sudden they'd be like, hey, somebody's gonna get jumped in, and shit, like, hey man, like, you want to get jumped in, so and so. Nah, I'm cool, you know, because I never felt the need, because these were my homies. Like, no matter what, I'm gonna back them up, they're gonna back me up, so I don't need to get jumped in, you know. I didn't see the point in it, but no matter what, they knew that I was gonna back them up, and I was gonna be down, and I was gonna fight, so they didn't really ever push the subject. But man, when I would see fools get fucked up, man, like broken ribs. I seen a couple people get jumped in. I mean, like 5 people get jumped in around all that time, and they never questioned me. Like, oh, you know, you're a pussy. You don't want to get into it, because they knew I wasn't a gangster, but I was just kicking it. You know, I was still gonna, if something went down, I was there. So a lot of times I see that, and then we'd have like the fairs. We'd have we used to have the carnival, and we used to have the street fair. One would happen, I think, around Memorial Weekend, and one would happen like in April, I think, around my birthday and stuff. After my birthday, like late April, and we'd go there, and you know, everyone would go, and sometimes when it would be the September one, everyone would be G'd up, man, because they'd be working at Career Partners. They'd be doing their work, and they'd be getting money, so people would be G'd up with their cologne. You go there, cruise around, man. And the fair was small, man. We cruised that shit like 20, 30 times in one day, just walking around, looking at chicks, and just cruising around and shit. And then one day, I think this one was back like it was in April, actually. I don't remember what year. Actually, yeah, it was 1998, April 1998. We're cruising around, you know, walking around. It was fucking Hoser, Steve, who else? My homie Slick, and that was it. It was just us. And then we had split up. My brother had split up with Noe, and they were doing their own thing. They were walking around and shit. But it was just us 4, right? We're walking. We had a couple friends, you know, girlfriends are walking with us. And I've always been into rockabilly, pompadours, and stuff like that. I just said I never had a barber that knew how to cut hair like that. So around that time, I always had my hair. I would have it slicked back or whatever, but. So me and Slick are walking, and I'm like, hey, man, that was a badass pompadour and shit. And you know, he looked at shit, because he knew I was into that shit, so, oh, cool, whatever. And this is when they had those fucking wannabe rebels fucking fools and shit. And I guess that's what they were. And I was like, whoa, what are you looking at, fool? And fuck you, whatever, you know. And I guess that wannabe rebel fool had he had a cigarette and shit. And that motherfucker flicked it at my homeboy. At Slick, he flicked it at him. Oh fuck! All hell broke loose, man. We started getting down with these motherfuckers, and it was me, Steve, and Slick were fucking getting down, dude. Boom, 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 throwing putazos, boom, boom, and fucking we're getting down and shit. Boom, 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 and all of a sudden, fucking. I'm chasing fools and shit, walking up to them, just fucking them up. They're walking around, still fucking them up, and all of a sudden, hey, let's go, burrito, let's go. The fucking cops are coming, fuck. So my homies, they didn't mean to leave me. They was like, fuck it, they didn't want to get caught, so they fucking left, right? I'm still fucking going after stalking motherfuckers. Boom, 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 dropping motherfuckers. One of those fucking kids, he tried to kick. I knew he was gonna try to kick me in the balls and shit, so I blocked it. Boom, I blocked it. Boom, fucked him up, dropped him. And then my homies had to come and grab me, man, because I was still fucking fighting shit. The cops were coming. So boom, boom, all of a sudden I stopped, and I seen the fool that tried to kick me in the balls. I seen his brother. His brother was just fucking standing there. And that really pissed me off, man, because if my brother was just fucking standing there, I'll fucking get pissed, man. So I went up to that motherfucker. Boom! I fucking sat down, gave him a fucking left hook, dropped that motherfucker. Boom! To the floor. Bam. We walk away. The fucking cops are coming towards us, right? We don't look like cholos. I had like a fucking Boston Red Sox hat on, and the fucking old, one of the first Rage Against the Machine shirts with Che Guevara, where his face is yellow and the letters are like fucking red and white and shit. And then my homeboy grabbed one of our friends, you know, that they're cool, so they grabbed the friend, like if they're walking, fucking, he put his arm around her and shit. We walk right by the fucking cops. Boom, we leave, fuck it, bam, we take off. And then I bump into fucking Noe and my brother and shit, right? And Steve was with me, so we fucking split up. And then earlier that day, my brother had some fucking brass knuckles. I don't know where the fuck he got the brass knuckles from. He had some fucking brass knuckles and shit. And then Noe, oh, give me those shit. He took it from my brother. Give me that shit. And he fucking took them away. And Noe put him in his fucking boot. Bam. So he has the brass knuckles in his boot. Noe had nothing to do with it. My brother wasn't even in that shit. And next thing you know, we see Noe. Oh, fuck it. Let's go. This fool had a badass fucking 64 fucking Chevy Malibu. Fucking badass fucking car, man. Chevelle Malibu. That shit was like, it wasn't a bubblegum blue, but it was a light blue, not a sky blue, but it was like in between a sky blue and a fucking, it was royal blue actually. Clean fucking car, fucking hooker headers. Actually, he bought that shit hooked up because he was the only one out of all of us that used to work that would actually fucking work. The rest of us didn't give a fuck. We were just like, fuck that, we're not gonna work. So he's been working since he was like 16. He had a permit. He bought that car himself, and so boom, we find that fool. We start taking off. All of a sudden, the cops caught up to the fools that we fucked up, and the fools were sitting on the curb. They're like, hey! They recognize the car. Hey, it's them, hey! All of a sudden, fucking, we're about to take off, and the cops fucking run in front of the car, man. Guns drawn. There was like 4 fucking cops with the guns fucking pointing at us. Fucking Noe fucking steps on the gas limiter. And then fuck, next thing you know, fuck, he just turns the car like, man, this is gonna fucking run over the fucking cops. They're gonna blast us and shit. But they got us out of the fucking, the Malibu, and these fools were all fucked up. Dude, it was like maybe like 10 of these. Hey, I felt the same. Man. They had like 10 motherfuckers, and it was like 3 of us that were fighting, dude. And these fools were all fucked up, black eyes, fucking all like fucking dizzy and shit. So they fucking sat us down. And then one by one, they're like, oh, who did what? Yeah. And they were like, yeah, it was that fat, some big old fat fool that I fucked up. He's like, yeah, it was that fat fool right there. He started everything. I said, fuck you, motherfucker. You weren't fucking talking shit when I was fucking you up. And the cop's like, nah, Jose, don't sink to his level. Like, all right, cool. So boom, they're checking us. And next thing you know, the cop, he's arresting me, right? So he's arresting me because I had just turned 18, man. This is like, April 5th, I turned 18. The fair was like April 28th or something, you know? So I'm 18 already, man. Fuck. And the cop's about to arrest me. And he put your hands behind your back. And the other cop goes, hey, you need some help? And the fucking cop that was arresting me, he was a little dude, man. He was probably like fucking 5'3", 5'4". So he got kind of offended. No, man, I got it. So he was kind of more rough to show, like, you know what, I can manhandle this 210-pound, 5'11" fool. And back then, that's when I was fucking solid, man. I was huge, man. All I did was work out and eat, and I was huge. Hell, I was hitting the gym. And this is before all that weight gainer, all that water muscle, protein stuff, man. I was huge, man. And that's some muscle I still carry today, man. Just genetics, you know. And so, yeah, this one fucking puts me in the cop car. We take off, and then we get to the booking cell. And Noe was, he was also 18, because I think his birthday was like, April fucking 2nd or one of those days, man. So he was 18 too. So we're in the booking cell. They make you take everything off, your shoes, whatever. I'm like, hey, well, boom. So I'm in the booking cell. And then they take me in there to the holding cell, right? And when I get there, I see my homeboy's brother, Mo. So it's actually Moreno, his older brother. He was in there, and he was there for the night. And we told, yeah, I know your brother Mo. And oh, cool. So we're talking and shit, cool. And then next thing you know, I guess it was fucking Noe's turn, right? And the fucking Hurans didn't notice that he had the fucking brass knuckles when they patted him down, because he had him in his fucking, he had some Caterpillar boots and shit. Those fucking. They fucking they lace up all the way to the toe. It looks like a fucking like really, really tight to the toe. And I guess he had the laces wrapped around his boot, so they couldn't tell, man. So all right, take off your boot. Takes off his left boot, Boom, nothing, right? Okay, take off your right boot. Bam, fucking brass knuckles. Fucking brass knuckles hit the fucking floor. Fucking cops. Boom, hey, you have fucking brass knuckles. Fuck. So, boom. They take the brass knuckles away. They book him for that shit. He goes into the holding cell where I'm at with Moreno. And fuck, he's nervous, man. And I'm like, fuck this shit. I was restless, man. I was in the top bunk and I'm fucking kicking the roof. Fucking kicking the fucking roof. Fuck this shit. I don't want to be in here. And I'm kicking the fucking roof. Fucking cops ain't even coming. And in the meantime, I'm checking out like all the artwork, all the people that were able to keister a fucking marker, and fucking had their placazos and shit. I see all these fucking fools that hit it up, big old fucking block letter SG on the fucking wall. I was just fucking. Then after I was, you know what, fuck it, I was just kicking it, and fuck it, I fell asleep, man. Fell asleep, and then next morning, Ramos, yeah, hey, come here. You're free to go. I'm like, oh shit, all right. So I'm going, and then Noah's like, what about me? He's like talking to me. He's like, hey Ramos, you want to fucking stay? Like, nah, fuck no, I fucking shit. I left. Boom. So I left, and I think I had like $5-6 and shit. So they gave me my money, and from there I was maybe like 2-3 miles away from home. It was Mission and Del Mar, and I lived in by El Pablo Bakery. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop by fucking Chano's, because Chano's used to be right there by the corner of Angelino and San Gabriel. So I stopped by Chano's. They got me a burger special. Fuck it. I went home. My parents didn't trip. Actually, my brother told me that they asked him, hey, what happened? Oh, we got in a fight. What happened? Did Jose kick ass? Yeah, he fucked them a bunch. Oh, fuck yeah. They're happy I kicked some ass and shit. So they were cool, I got lucky. They let me out the next day. They just booked me on assault with a deadly weapon because they said the way I fucked them up that my hands are like deadly weapons or whatever. But that was it. Nothing else ever came of that and shit. But my brother and Steve, they were still minors because Steve's birthday is on the 29th, I think, or 30th of April. So he was still a minor. My brother was 2 years younger, so my brother was 16. So my parents picked him up, but then they were arranged to go to court like a week later. And then they took his ass to county, man, because he had those fucking brass knuckles. So fuck, they took him to county. My brother, so I took him to court like a week later. I used to have a 67 Mustang and shit. I put like chrome valve covers, and I used to like the car. And so we fucking went to court, and all of a sudden the court took a recess. Oh, you guys can take off. So fuck, we went across. There was a Carl's Jr. close by. It was in Pasadena on Walnut. So we ate, and then I started chroming up I was polishing my chrome valve covers on my engine, right? And like, hey, Jose, let's go. We gotta go back. I'm like, nah, cool. Fuck, we show up, man. They fucking end up arresting them. They got a bench warrant because they showed up late, so they fucking ended up going to juvenile hall, man. Fuck. So they had to go to juvenile hall, and they did about a week or two, I think. And then they got out. Noe came out, and when he came out, they got that for a stripper and shit. And fucking, we were kicking in the back house, and all of a sudden, the fucking skinny ass white lady pretending to be a fucking neighbor. Hey, you guys, the music's too loud, guys. So you know what I'm gonna do? The fucking bitch, the skinny ass white girl and shit, no ass and shit. She comes in, says, you guys are disturbing the peace. He fucking comes in and takes off a fucking dress, fucking starts stripping and all that shit. So that's what got a good welcome home and shit. And that shit was crazy back then, man. But yeah, he ended up doing, I think, 2 weeks for the brass knuckles. Luckily, it wasn't my brother, man, because my brother had him. And since he took him away, he got caught snipping with those, man. A little glimpse inside, growing up in San Gabriel in the 80s and 90s. I'll probably do another different topic next. I'm going to go back in time and think of other stories, that I could talk to you guys about my upbringing, just growing up in that time. It was crazy, man. People getting shot left and right. But you have any questions, you can go on the Anchor app or on the Anchor website, and you can submit some questions, or go to my my Instagram at Ranting with Ramos, and DM me some questions, anything you wanna know about, and I'll answer your questions. I'm here to answer everything. I'm here to keep it real. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
All right, so that was episode 2. This episode, I decided to call it Fight. after a Cure song in the CD called Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. The song is called Fight. Check it out. And, because of all the fighting in this episode. And I want to give a special shout out to the Mega Man at the Mega Man's podcast for, the advice and the support and the shout outs. And check this guy out, man. He's doing good things with trying to unite all of us Chicanos, all these Chicano podcasts, so we can have a voice out there, because we got a lot to say, And so shout out to the Mega Man's podcast. Follow him. He's on Instagram, and follow his podcast. And also, while I'm on that, following and all that, I have my Instagram is DeathBlow1, and all the music that you heard on, or that you're hearing on the podcast, is my music from my side project that I have, which is my dark wave, cold wave, goth. It's a mix that I have, projects that I have on a CD that who knows when it's gonna come out, because I have tons of music, but I haven't sung over it yet. I'm doing this easier, the talking, so this will probably be a first step to eventually putting lyrics on my music, because I got tons of music that I plan on performing along with my son. My son's a very talented musician, and that was pretty much it. Also, please, if you like the podcast, if you don't like the podcast, subscribe. Give me a review. That'll help make the podcast better. If you have any questions, you can DM me at the Ranting with Ramos Instagram, or on Anchor. There's a comment page where you can actually record a comment, and I can get it, and that way I can improve it if you have any ideas, if you have any questions. And that's pretty much it. This episode is being released Friday morning, and hopefully, not hopefully, I am going to do it. I'm going to drop another one Monday morning. So it's always, I'm going to try to do Friday morning and Monday morning to get you guys going. And that's pretty much it. I hope everyone stays safe. Whether you believe this coronavirus or not, I don't, but don't listen to me, man. Just like when people ask me my opinion, like, hey man, what do you think about this? I tell them, look, this is what I think, but who the fuck am I? That's just me, And also with music, they ask me, hey, like, what do you think about this music? And I tell them, look, man, I'm a Morrissey fan, so, that's what I like, so